Taken from the sky he loved, this aviator's final resting place is here in his hometown of Newton. At the dawn of a new century, Lowell Richard Bayles was born January 24, 1900 to Rayford and Hattie Bayles in Mason, Illinois in Effingham County. He would be the oldest of 7 children, having 3 younger brothers and sisters. Bayles' father worked in the telegraph industry. In 1908, they relocated to Newton, with his father eventually taking a job with the railroad. First renting a home on East Marion Street, they eventually purchased a home at 238 East Reynolds Street. As a youngster, Bayles was always mechanically inclined. He loved to tinker with machines, and when not in school, you would find him hanging around garages. Bayles attended school in Newton. During his high school years, he worked for a local garage, graduating from Newton High School in 1918. Following graduation, Bayles went to Baltimore and secured a job in the shipyards. He worked there for a year and a half and then returned to Illinois. Upon returning, he took a job in Christopher working in the coal mines. His father thought he should fit himself for a profession and made it possible for him to attend the University of Illinois. Studying to be a mining engineer, after his first year he deserted his books after pressure from the coal mine officials to return to work. During the war years, Bayles saw a Jenny biplane and dreamed of one day becoming a flyer. While in Christopher, Bayles would get an opportunity to chase his dream. A motorcycle enthusiast, Bayles owned 2 which he used to fly down the road on trips between Christopher and Newton. In the winter of 1924, he would sell one to pay for flying lessons with Captain Bob Blair, a former Army aviator. Bayles was a natural and soon had enough flying hours for his private pilot's license. As luck would have it, the tri-state tornado of 1925 damaged Blair's plane before Bayles could fly solo. Bayles and another man bought a Canuck, a Canadian version of the wartime Jenny. Blair flew it back to Christopher and then was to return for Bayles' training. When he failed to return, Bayles took the plane up solo. After flying solo for about 2 months, Bayles flew back to Newton to show his friends he could fly. He took Aubrey Bauer up in his plane. The motor quit and the plane crashed into an apple orchard. It was wrecked, but neither he nor Aubrey were hurt. He was able to salvage the motor and the fittings. Bayles returned to the mines to earn enough money to build a new plane. It took 6 months of hard work and every cent he earned, but in the end he had a plane he was proud of. The region of Franklin and Williamson counties at this time was a hotbed for Prohibition-era gangsters. The Shelton brothers and Charles Berger gangs engaged in war over control of bootlegging and gambling operations in southern Illinois. The Sheltons introduced aerial dynamite bombings into tactics, demolishing Berger's retreat at Shady Rest. Seeking retaliation, Berger and his men learned of 2 planes in the vicinity. One midnight soon afterwards, Bayles' plane was the target of a bomb placed in the cockpit while parked. Berger later confessed that he did not believe Bayles' plane was involved, but thought it was best to get it out of the way. Broke once more, Bayles returned to the mines, but aviation was always his destiny. He eventually logged enough hours to get a transport pilot's license. After leaving Christopher, Bayles headed south and engaged in commercial flying and barnstorming or stunt work near Tampa. At this time, Bayles met Roscoe Brinton, a fellow aviation enthusiast from the East. They would start a flying service based out of Springfield, Massachusetts in 1928, training students in flying passenger transport planes. The following year, he would join the Curtiss Flying Service in Boston and further expand his flying resume. Due to the Great Depression, orders for planes had all but stopped. 5 brothers named Granville who built planes saw the air racing circuit as a way to stay in business, forming the Springfield Air Racing Association and selling shares to build a new race plane. Bayles added $500 of his own money and was hired as the pilot, focusing their attention on a small-seated, fast sport plane called the GB designed by Robert Hall. Bayles flew the GB Model X in the Cirrus Derby of 1930. The Derby was an all-American derby consisting of a 6,000-mile race and offering a prize of $25,000. For 10 days, a fleet of tiny racers tore across the U.S. in the longest aviation race in history. Bayles came in second and shared the $7,000 purse with the Granville Company. Earning recognition for his daring flying, Bayles piloted a GB Model E Sportster in the Ford National Reliability Air Tour of 1931. Bayles would finish 4th in the point standing and win the Great Lakes Trophy worth $2,000 in total prize money. At the 1931 National Air Races, racing the new GBZ christened City of Springfield with a supercharged 535 horsepower Wasp engine, Bayles cleaned up, winning the Shell Speed Dash on September 1st with an average speed of just over 267 miles per hour. Bayles flew without shoes to improve the feel of the rudder, and hit 286 miles per hour on one run, which was an unofficial world record. Then went on to win the Goodyear Trophy race on September 2nd with an average speed of 206 miles per hour. Finally, on September 7th, the grand prize, the $7,500 Thompson Trophy prize with an average speed of 236 miles per hour. It was not hard flying, Bayles said after. I just opened the throttle and let her go. On trips back home to Newton, Bayles would not talk about the race or any other achievements he made in the sky. Known as an exceptionally quiet young man, he was silent about himself and bashful to an extreme. Folks at home heard of his exploits from the outside world. Bayles and the Granvilles were determined to go after the world speed record prior to the 1932 season. The city of Springfield was fitted with a new 750 horsepower Wasp engine. Bayles would make attempts on the 278.4 mile-per-hour world record currently held by a French pilot at the Wayne County Airport in Detroit, Michigan. On one trial run, he attained a speed of 314 miles per hour. However, the average of his 4 runs could only be submitted for consideration for the world record. He made additional attempts on November 30th and December 1st, each time hitting high speeds but failing to meet the required average speed of 4.97 miles per hour above the current record to claim the title. Told he had missed the record by the narrowest of margins, Bayles smiled and said, "I'm sort of glad I didn't crack it this time. I think I can do 290 or better if the wind is right, and I want to set a good record when I do it." On Saturday, December 5, 1931, the 31-year-old 5'7", 120-pound Newton native was ready again. Shortly after 1 p.m., he climbed into the cockpit and took off. To be considered for the record, it was required that the run be made below 162 feet. Bayles and the GB would climb 1,000 feet to start the dive for the run. Heading into the 3-kilometer course at approximately 150 feet above the ground, the GB was traveling at tremendous speed when the plane suddenly pitched up sharply and the outer half of the right wing folded back. The aircraft did 2 fast snap rolls and crashed into a ball of flames. The wreckage was scattered over 600 feet, and Bayles was killed instantly. His body was recovered, badly charred, several feet from the wreckage. A motion picture captured the entire run, and it was examined frame by frame. The final conclusion was that the gas cap had vibrated loose, crashed through the windshield, and incapacitated Bayles, at least breaking his goggles and possibly rendering him unconscious. It was here that a sudden change in attitude occurred. The plane was sensitive, and the sudden change in pitch caused the wing to fail. Pieces of the canopy, Bayles' goggles, and the gas cap found along the flight path seemed to support these findings. Bayles was engaged to Miss Gertrude St. Marie of Springfield, Massachusetts. The two were to wed after the holidays. She first heard of the tragedy Saturday when she overheard a man in the store say Bayles got it. She thought he meant the record. She saw the headlines in the newspaper and relates that she remembers nothing else until she finally found herself at home, where she was taken by friends. Bayles' body was transported from Michigan to his family home in Newton. His body lay in state from Tuesday morning, December 8th, until the funeral on Wednesday. An estimated 1,500 people passed by. On the day of the funeral, Newton businesses were closed and the entire community, an estimated 2,000 people, gathered in overflowing capacity at the Methodist Church for the 2 p.m. service. Pallbearers were from Newton, with 4 of them being classmates of Bayles. Men like Bayles showed how speed can be obtained. It was not mere stunt work. Both commercial and military aviation needed faster planes. Bayles was posthumously awarded the United States National Land Plane Speed Record of 281.75 miles per hour in January of 1932 for his flight on December 1st. From the depths of the earth and coal mines to the heights of the sky, Lowell Bayles' death was one of those sacrifices that the air seems to demand every so often of the men who would conquer it for the service of mankind.